re-signed with the Los Angeles Angels. Oh, no. Oh, my God. This save is truly a nightmare. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Out of the Park Baseball 24. It was an awful year. I recorded the video yesterday, and as I stated in the video, that was an extremely difficult first season, and one of the most difficult ones that I've ever had to play through. And it's just unlucky for me that it ends up being my first ever YouTube series. So, one of the things that I noted in the last episode was the dryness of the waiver wire last year. And usually you can pick up pretty solid relievers. There's a lot of bigger teams, with kind of mega bullpens that don't have the 40-man roster room, and inevitably start cutting pretty decent relievers and even potential starting pitchers that even have option years, so you can even send them down to AAA if they don't end up working out. And there was very little of that. So as you can see here, our pitching was just by far the worst in the NL, and you could probably make an argument for the worst in the entire MLB. And our zone rating and defensive efficiency is the worst in the NL, and that's not too shocking. So those are two things that I'm interested in changing. I think we have the young offensive options in Jonathan Aranda, James Wood, Robert Hassel III, CJ Abrams, and Luis Garcia when he comes back from a torn labrum in a couple weeks. Hopefully that all starts to, our offense starts clicking. And what we're going to be doing in this video is really emphasizing picking up arms and elite talent. And that's going to come through free agency, and that's going to come through the waiver wire. And one of the players that I've decided to put a waiver wire on, a claim on, is Jonathan Loáisiga on the New York Yankees. We take a look here. Jonathan Loáisiga, here he is. He's just, he's not one that I usually go for, the type of reliever style. I'm not a big contact, extreme ground ball, especially with such how bad our defense was. And as we noted last episode, how, badly BABA negatively affected us because of our poor defense. But this is just a profile that I can't deny is just really good. He's going to end up asking for about $3 million in arbitration, which I think is probably justified. He had a 1.75 ERA plus in 44 innings last year, giving up less than a home run per 9, walking about 3 per 9, and striking out, which who really cares about if you're making them, ground out. Here's 5 ground balls in 3 innings versus 2 fly balls and 12 batters faced with 2 Ks and 2 walks. So that's probably what we're going to end up seeing in the Major League room. So we are going to get him, which is exciting. But like I said, this is going to be the off season for us: free agency, trades, arbitration, Rule 5 draft, international free agent signings, and then we will see the rest in the next episode. Last episode was way too long, and I have no anticipation and no desire to make it as long as the last episode. So we're just going to take a look at the new goals. Upgrade at left field. James Wood's coming up. He'll be playing left field for us, as well as Alec Kirilloff will rotate into left field. Have a final total balance of $23 million. I'm not interested in completing that goal. Our budget's already is rough enough. I don't think that I want to have just $23 million lying around that I can use to benefit this team. Increase fan interest. We'll do that by winning. Improve your record. We'll do that by winning. Improve your international amateur fines. We haven't had one, so I don't know why you say improve. And we need to reach the playoffs for the next 3 seasons. Our budget went up to $150 million. I think I'm sure you guys could check, but I'm pretty sure that it was at about $130, $140 last year. And the top prospects here, here's Dylan Cruz. Naturally, Dylan Cruz was just dominant in A-ball. He had a 174 OPS plus, generating 2 WAR in only a matter of 40 games. 13 home runs and 40. He's just really good. So I'm very happy that we made the big trades to free up the cap space to sign him to a match his signing bonus. I think that was a good staple for us. We are currently 7th in the top farm systems, simply because we have Robert Hassel the third, the 17th best prospect, and Dylan Cruz, the number 4 prospect. So not because we have a bunch of really good players, unfortunately, but I still think we do. But let's just go straight into arbitration. Again, I don't want to have this video be as long as the last one, and we have a lot to consider and to think about, and I'll kind of walk through the process mentally, what what's going on in my head, and the decisions and why the decisions I'm making, et cetera, et cetera. Anthony Banda, no thank you. A positive war season, but just everything else wasn't good. His Sierra wasn't good. He's 30 years old. He'll be 31 in the middle of next year. I'm gonna pass. I'm gonna hold on to that $1.3 million more than likely. Hunter Harvey's coming off radial nerve decompression surgery in his elbow. I'm not gonna take the risk. I love Hunter Harvey in real life. He throws 100 miles an hour, and that's great. But an extreme fly ball guy with 45 movement, and he's fragile, and he's throwing gas. I think that just kind of smells like that's going to end up being a injury waiting to happen, and that's going to be $1 million wasted when I can use $1 million on a reliever of better quality than that in free agency. So, as well as waiver wires next year. Joe Mantiply, absolutely. We traded for him from Arizona. If you guys remember, for Carlos Vargas, we got Wilfred Patino, and he ended up giving away Alex Call, who did pretty well for them. So I'm very happy for Alex Call. But Joe Mantiply, yes. This is probably 0.8 WAR. This is probably fair. I think I'm going to keep it like that. I think that's fair. Nick Nelson, who we got from the Phillies, who we traded away Yadiel Hernandez, he wasn't great. He ended up walking 7 per 9, which is a pretty big increase from what his norms are, and we kind of have to make a decision on whether or not that was because his control is just that bad, which it looks like it is. And the next question is he worth $1.3 million? But see, like, I'm the kind of person that kind of likes this profile. Like, I don't mind if you can't find the strike zone, as long as you're not giving up 2 home runs per 9. And I just don't see that's 2 home runs per 9 just isn't going to continue, considering, for New York in 14 innings, and then 2022 for the Phillies, he barely let up even 0.2. So I think Nick Nelson is worth. I'm gonna go with he's gonna be worth keeping around for $1.3 million. Tanner Rainey, unfortunately, is gone. I'm not gonna, it's someone that didn't play at all last year. He's gonna be 31 next year. No thanks. That's $1.7 million that I can spend elsewhere. Sam Gallagher, unfortunate for him, he ended up tearing his anterior crucial ligament. So, but we just don't need this many. We don't need this many catchers in Kyber Ruiz and Carlos Perez. Eric Haas is under the same boat. I don't need that many catchers. Carlos Perez, he's actually upgraded to 3.5 stars per my scout. And I'm gonna keep him. There's no reason for me not to, especially considering he could be a pretty good DH bat for us against lefties. This is a good profile and a good catcher. And if Kybert ever ends up getting injured, Carlos Perez can slide in pretty good. So $2.8 million is pretty good, all things considered. Dominic Smith, bye. We already knew what I was going to do. He generated negative WAR last year. He generated -1 as a pretty much almost every single day player. And he only hit 7 home runs in 371 at-bats, 67 WRC plus. No thanks. Michael Chavez, no thank you. Gonna pass. Too old and just not good enough. Luis Garcia, yes, I'm interested in keeping. $1.3 million is a steal for him. Nick Madrigal, who, like I said, I mentioned I'm a big fan of Encanto, so really tempted to hold on to him simply for my love of the Disney classic. He's also captain, can play third base, can play, he can play shortstop. But can he really play shortstop? He did well for us. I don't know if he's going to continue walking 7% of the time. That one's a thinker. I'm going to come back to Nick. I'm going to come back. Ildarma Vargas, no thank you. Not interested. Not even worth the discussion. Carter Kaiboom, not worth a discussion. No thank you. This is not a good player in Major League Baseball. Alex Kirillov absolutely is worth $1.6 million, and I will gladly take that. 65 contact. Generated 1.3 WAR. Can play. Oh, that's right, because the Twins won. The Twins won the World Series last year. That's nice. So we get Alex Kirillov, a World Series winner, and Lane Thomas is $3.2 million for this kind of player is just not a good deal. Not a good deal. So Madrigal is the one that is a thinking man's question. We'll take a look at some of our minor league players and if we're interested in keeping them around, and the answer is probably not for most of them. Blankenhorn is actually kind of interesting for me. He's got high work ethic. He's only 28, so I'll offer him a minor league extension, but if he doesn't come back, then I'm not going to sit there and cry about it. Garcia, no. Stone Garrett is fun, but no. Oh, Paris. Oh, really? He's 2.5 stars? You think so, Scout? You really think so? I'm gonna pass. Lucius Fox. That's pretty sad. He's been in the farm system for a while for the Nats, and doesn't look like I'm interested in anyone else. I'm not interested in a 29-year-old in AA. So that's gonna be that for arbitration. Now what's going to be the most interesting part for me, and something that I'm going to completely cut, and so you guys only see the end products of, is I'm going to be looking to trade these arbitration guys. We're going to be losing them for free anyway, so if I can get prospects and other teams that are interested, I'm going to showcase the trades. I won't talk about them too much, so that way we can keep this episode, as much as I love to ramble, we are going to try and keep this episode as low in terms of how long it is as possible. So I'm going to look for trades for over the next few days. If I pick up anyone off waivers, et cetera, I will all showcase them in really brief segments to make sure that this goes as smoothly as possible, so that we can keep the video time for free agency and Rule 5 draft stuff. So I will be back with any trades that I make, and I will see you guys then. All right, welcome back. Only a few things have happened. It's November 17th. I've only made a few successful trades, as you can see down here in November. November 8th, we traded Carter Kaiboom, Amos Willingham, Jacob Young, which was a little sad, but, I just am not a fan of whatever this is. Riggs, Threadgill, Drew Milas, Bernardo Geraldo, it's a lot of players, and Nick Pogue for John Gray and Jonathan Ornelas. This was for John Gray, and the thing about getting John Gray is his contract's tough. He's 32 years old, but they're retaining 90% of it, so we're going to be paying him for the next 2 years, only about $1.5 million, if I'm not mistaken. So as you can see here, John Gray, $1.3 million for the next 2 years. I think that's fantastic for a team that could really use someone like John Gray, a ground ball pitcher. I'm pretty excited about that. So I feel like that's a pretty good trade. Kaiboom, we weren't interested, and then a bunch of non-prospects essentially that I wasn't really interested in getting a prospect that I am interested in. And John Gray, I think that's a great success. We go back to the transaction log, and then we used a waiver wire on Diego Hernandez, released from the Kansas City Royals. He's got option years. I don't mind this as much. Line drive hitter. If some of these can develop a little bit, he's free essentially. He's making $740. He's making the minimum, but he's going to be in AAA, so we're only going to have to pay him half of that. So I think that was just kind of worth the risk for me personally. Like I said, we ended up with Jonathan Loizaga. Pretty happy about that. Tyler Blankenhorn, who you saw, signed a minor league extension. So I'm not gonna say it again. I'm pretty happy about that. I released Chad Cool, just waste of space on my 40 man. Man, Luis Garcia is activated. But what I brought you guys back for this specific day was because we got a fantastic trade from the San Diego Padres, who we have a pretty good reputation with. Obviously, pretty infamous for getting, trading away Juan Soto, Josh Bell for CJ Abrams, James Woods, and Robert Hassel III. This is it. We're going to get David Dahl. Not interested in him. He has a $2 million extension. I'm probably just going to trade him. I'm not, he's a great defensive corner outfielder. He was an all-star in 2019 for the Rockies, right? I'm pretty sure it was for the Rockies. 2019, yeah, for the Rockies. We had a 131 OPS plus. He's not the same guy. He's had injury problems. And we're going to give away Lane Thomas, who, as I stated previously, we were at no intention of keeping with arbitration. He's going to be asking for way too much money, and he's just not worth that much money. And we're also going to give away Pablo Aldanis. This is a pretty tragic one for me. This is unfortunate. He is a good pitching prospect in AA. He had a 86 ERA plus and a 3.94 Sierra. So some pretty good positive regression there for him upcoming. But what we are getting is the number 63 prospect in Andy Pages. Pages, I think is how you say it. Ball go boom off the bat, huh? I mean, no kidding. And he's got a great outfield arm, fly ball pull hitter. The Padres just give us another one of their prospects for essentially Lane Thomas and a pitching prospect who has never been a top 100 prospect, but he's pretty good. 92, 94. Extreme fly ball's a little scary with only 40 movements. So I'm willing to do this. Mike Rizzo says he's willing to do this, and AJ Preller says he's willing to do this. And just for reference, if we were to try this manually, they wouldn't even think about it without someone like Jonathan Aranda or CJ Abrams. So this is a pretty advantageous trade for us. So we are going to accept that. That has been your rundown so far. When we come back, complete the trade, yes. When we come back, we'll take a look at who won the awards, and we'll see and take a look at the arbitration hearings, see how that turned out. And then the big part of this video is going to be free agency. So stay tuned for that. I will be right back. Okay, hello everyone. We are back. Salary arbitration hearings are tomorrow. So the only big decision that I decided to make was to keep around Nick Madrigal, Mr. Encanto. I'm gonna keep him for $2 million. I feel like that's okay. He's a captain. He's in a position, two positions, second base and third base, that we are looking for a backup. And I don't particularly dislike this profile from him. But really the main thing is he's high leader. He's got captain personality class. He did pretty well for us in his limited at bats for us. About 53 games. He was hitting 300. And keeping down that strikeout rate due to the 90 avoid Ks. On top of the fact that Luis Garcia and CJ Abrams are both lefties, he's a righty, so inherently he is a little bit better against lefties. And as my scout says, there could be some room for improvement. So if we can get that I to up to 50, I think that he will be a pretty nice pickup for us. But it's a lot of ifs, buts, and all of that kind of stuff. But I don't think that in terms of, since I've seen you guys, we have done anything. Oh, we have. I have grabbed Phil Bickford off the waiver wire from the Los Angeles Dodgers. I think this is a really, really good reliever prototype here. He's unmotivated, but luckily, this kind of went into the decision of keeping Madrigal. Is hopefully the high leader and captain personality type of Madrigal will kind of offset Phil Bickford. I'm pretty sure it's just Bickford, right? Like bickering, Bickford. Yeah, so we're going to keep him. Bickford did pretty well last year. He had a 281 ERA plus, but that's because he had only 18 innings and a 212 BABIP. In AAA last year, he had a 144 ERA plus and a 2.74 Sierra. So that's pretty exciting stuff. Hopefully he can hold it down, and more than likely a setup role for me. Fly ball pitcher, with 50 movements, a little scary, but 2.4 home runs per 9 in AAA, I don't see that's going to continue with these overalls. So I think we're going to be a little closer to like a 1.5, maybe 1.6 home runs per 9. So pretty happy about that. But let's not joke around here. Let's go straight into the salary arbitration hearings. A lot of players are going to be going. We'll take a quick brief look again. A little reminder. Anthony Bond to buy. Hunter Harvey, goodbye. Jonathan Loaizaga, hello. Joe Mantiply, hello. Nick Nelson. With the pickup of Bickford, no, I'm going to get rid of Nick Nelson. I'm not going to pay $1.3 million for a guy that had a 6.17 ERA last year. And a sub or, above a 3.8 Sierra that just never really translated. His FIP minus was pretty good for the Phillies, but for us, he had negative 0.8 WAR in 39 innings pitched, even though he was a starter at some point, and I think that contributed to his poor performance. And I also don't think that his 2.1 home runs per 9 is going to continue, but I think that if I really want someone like this, I can find someone in free agency that will take a minor league contract or take less money than the 1.4 he was asking for. So sorry, Nick Nelson, you're gone. Tanner Rainey is gone. Cam Gallagher. These are both Cam Gallagher and Eric Haas were two salary dump guys that we just got and threw them in AAA, and I'm not particularly upset about losing either of them. Carlos Perez is going to stick around for one more year at least. We might look to trade him because next year's salary arbitration might be a little too high for a backup catcher. Dom Smith is gone. Not really too surprising there. Michael Chavez is gone. Luis Garcia is back. Nick Madrigal is back. Adalmar Vargas is gone. And Alex Kirilloff is back. So let's take a look and see how much money we gained and how much money we lost in salary arbitration hearings. Garcia, we luckily we were able to save about $500,000 on him. Mantiply, we save about $700,000 on Joe Mantiply. Carlos Perez, it shoots up to $3.5 million. For backup catcher. So I'll shop him around right as we get into free agency filings. Looks like we lost $700,000 there. Kirilloff, we gained $400,000. Nick Madrigal, we gained $500,000. Loaizaga, we gained $660,000. So that's a pretty good salary arbitration hearing. That's a pretty successful one. I've had a lot of ones that have gone better than that. I've had a lot of ones that have gone significantly worse than that. So I'm pretty happy about that. The White Sox have offered us Benintendi and this minor leaguer prospect, 18-year-old Yohander Linares, who they got in a trade with Boston for Keibert Ruiz. No, thanks. A lot of teams have been offering for Keibert, and I think the AI is picking up on Carlos Perez being on our roster. But let's move forward into free agency. That's what we're all here for. That's all we all care about. So let's get to that. We have our international free agent players. Let's go ahead and take a quick look at this. Phillies, no thanks. I don't want Alex Bob, and I don't want to give up one of my better prospects in Jackson Rutledge. Though it looks like I should be shopping him around. If Alec Bob is the kind of player that's generating interest, Jackson Rutledge has not developed his changeup whatsoever. So, in the projected role is bullpen / emergency starter. The future is borderline starter. Only having 2 pitches to work with is not good enough for the major league level, even if you throw 97, 99. And if I'm going to be able to trade him as a starting pitcher, as the AI interprets him as a starting pitcher, it might be worth my time to see what he's worth in the market. So I'm going to reject Alec Bohm for Jackson Rutledge. He's 24 years old. He was in Double-A last year. He spent some time Triple-A, I do remember. In Double-A, he disappointed with a 79 ERA plus and a 122 FIP minus. That's pretty gross. All right, so let's take a look at these free agents. I usually like to just take the international free agents, like this guy, Hiroshi Tanabe, would definitely just sign for a minor league contract, and there's no reason for me not to. I think it's just fun to have guys like this that the the game kind of just generates. I think it's fun. Sidearm guy, he throws fastball, slider, changeup, sinker, splitter, but he's got nothing to his advantage. But hey, man, why not? Here is Kajuro Kodoma, high work ethic, but he's going to give up home runs. Kenzaburo Okada, no thank you. Edgar Rosado, no thank you. Jesus Salinas, that So what I see right here, first of all, I see durable as a pitcher. That's fantastic. And I see $0. He will take a minor league contract, and that is phenomenal. And I will immediately offer Jesus Salinas. This is a This is a great profile. So I will take that. Byung Choi Kim, gap power guy. Again, another guy that will gladly just take a minor league deal for free, essentially. So no reason for me not to. I like to just, like I said, it's just, I mean, like, why not? You know, it's probably not a smart decision. I'm not going to take up this guy. This guy's profile doesn't interest me at all. At least Hiroshi has some interesting pitch mix and high work ethic, and he's got a lot of stamina. So if he ever develops, he'll be a definite starter. Kim has this gap power and pretty decent speed. His 25 outfield range. Do not put him in the outfield. And then we have Luis Moreno, a switch hitting 26-year-old he's a maniac on the base pass at least. And he's a pretty decent defending shortstop. I will go ahead and grab him as really good outfield ratings as well. So it looks like a good platoon guy potentially, or Swiss Army knife guy, utility guy. That's the word I'm looking for. So yeah, why not, right? So we'll do that. Phillies, and here's the free agents. I don't see Shohei Ohtani. You see Clayton Kershaw. I see Travis d'Arnaud. I see Sonny Gray. Gio Urshela is hitting the free agency after his stint in Los Angeles, and then the Phillies. Teoscar Hernandez, obviously, is a free agent in real life as well. Raimel Tapia is a guy that keeps getting playing time, and looks like OOTP like him enough to give him some pretty good ratings here, and that's fun, but definitely not worth $14 million. All right, so let's go to the offseason center. Let's see if the big dog is here. Let's see if Shohei Ohtani is here, and he is not. Shohei Ohtani is not a free agent. Let's go ahead and we'll take a peek at where he ended up going. Let's see if he re-signed with the Los Angeles Angels. Oh no. Oh my God. This save is truly a nightmare. Oh, and that is just a highway robbery. 6 years, $189 million is all they're paying for a 3.7 plus 4.3 WAR guy. For an 8 WAR guy, they're paying $31 million. 8 WAR guy. Oh. Do I even want to look at the trade? Do I even want to look at the trade? They gave up Alex Ramirez. Okay, they gave up considerable. They gave up a good amount. So they gave away the number 40 prospect in Alex Ramirez. They gave up Blade Tidwell, Carter Baumler, and Dylan Tabrake. And that's it. But he signed his extension with the Angels. That makes me feel a little better. But does Mike Trout want to be traded now? No. He's perfectly content in mediocrity, and I feel so bad for Mr. Fish here. Man. Why the Mets? Why the Mets? Why not like the Dodgers or something? He's wearing number 4. Ew. For why? Okay, well, Matt Carpenter and Joey Gallo are here, and we've already put in an offer for Jesus Salinas. So let's go ahead and address and look at some of the. We'll take a look at what are their holes, right? So number one, I want a better defensive shortstop. I'd like to move Luis Garcia to third base. I'd like to move CJ to second. We have Siani in center field, which is exciting. He's good enough defense, and I think this is just a good enough hitter with high high adaptability and high work ethic guy. James Wood, I am more than content with keeping out in left field. First base is a bit of a question. If we end up moving CJ to second, Luis Garcia to third, finding a better shortstop, Jonathan Aranda is probably our first baseman. Kyber Ruiz is our catcher. And someone like Damiano Palmegiani. So the hitting, I'm not too particularly scared for. We'll take a look and kind of browse some of the better hitters. DHs and stuff like that is something that I'm interested in. But really, it's this pitching, right? We go here, we sort, and that's a lot of pitchers that are in the 2-star range. So starters, bullpen guys, quite literally anything. Literally anything for us. As fun as it would be to get someone like Matt Carpenter on a 1-year deal, just to rake for us. We'll probably wait for some. I'm not going to pay big money for that kind of player. Same thing with Joey Gallo. They'll get big contracts, and I don't want to really shell out money for these kind of guys, especially that they're in their 30s. But Shohei Ohtani would have been the exception. I would have shelled out as much money as I possibly could have. We've got $18 million, so not too much. Looking at some of the guys that went cheaper contracts and names that I recognize, G-Man Choi is a really fun get. Someone that walks a lot and is a lefty bat. But here's Harrison Bader with that pretty good defense, though he has significantly been downgraded in terms of his defense compared to last year, which is a bit disappointing. Jurickson Profar coming off that prove it deal, and he did not prove it. Miguel Sano's here. Justin Turner, who the Yankees traded away Oswaldo Cabrera for. Joey Wendell's a guy. But those are the batters. Let's go and take a look at the pitchers here. So I saw Liam Hendricks, right, and $10 million coming off cancer, I believe, for Liam Hendricks, and very happy to see that he has ended up beating cancer so far. I know that cancer is something that comes back and is just forever in your body, and it's really hard to tell when it's coming back and stuff like that. So my heart and my thoughts and everything go out to Liam Hendricks, because he is a dominant pitcher in Major League Baseball, and I don't think anybody deserves to go through anything like that, especially cancer in their life. So my thoughts are with Liam. Am I going to sign him to a $10 million contract? No, not at the age of 34. As great it would be to get an elite closer, we have more pressing needs than getting an elite closer. Salinas can't start. He's at 40 stamina, but he's really only got a 2-pitch mix and fastball sinker, which is 2 fastballs, which is a little scary. But in terms of starting pitchers, Clayton Kershaw's here. I don't want to pay Clayton Kershaw $22 million a year at the age of 36. But that would be fun. Like, it would be fun, right? Looking at guys that just like want a kind of, probably just like a cheaper deal than they're probably worth. Alex Cobb has elbow inflammation. He's out for 7 weeks. I don't know if it's, he's asking for $3 million. And let's think about if we offer Alex Cobb a 1-year, $3 million deal, right? So he comes back from his injury. You add in the fact that he's 36, granted a young 36. He'll be 36 for the entire year. He throws 95, 97, an extreme ground baller. He throws sinker, splitter, knuckle curve, right? Best case scenario is he is a 3-star player, even a 2.5-star player, and he ends up doing at least somewhat decent. Worst case scenario is that this injury and the stars, they just go down, and these overalls, they just go down, and we just waste $3 million, right? If I had more money, I think that I would end up taking Alex Cobb. But I don't have the money. I have $18 million to spend. So What I'm going to do is I'm going to sit here and I'm going to comb through all of these players, all of these ratings, all of these batting ratings, et cetera, et cetera. And I'm going to try and find some guys that I am interested in signing and I am interested in bringing to the team. What I usually like to end up doing is I like to wait all the way until spring training and get the cheapest, best deals for some of the guys. So that's probably what I'll end up doing. If I make any trades, if I sign any free agents, obviously I will come back. But if not, I will see you guys in just a little bit. So let's go ahead and cross our fingers for some good, yummy, team-friendly deals, right? I hope I don't end up spending big money on a player that I don't need. So let's not do that. Let's be frugal. Let's be sensible. And let's go out and make the Nationals better. So pitchers, please be good. Batters, I care less about. We have some really good bats in AAA. Pitchers is what I'm going to have to look at. So I will be back. Pray for me. Okay, hello everyone. We have not signed any major free agents so far. I'm still slowly working my way, trying to find best deals and trading players and stuff like that. And I am deciding to trade Jackson Rutledge. Like I said previously, I think the AI is interpreting his potential as a starting pitcher. And I don't think that after the next year, when he turns 25 years old, they're going to think that he's going to become a starting pitcher. He's only got 2 pitches. This changeup up to 45 just isn't good enough. And as you can see, future, it's a borderline starter. You know, he throws 97, 99 miles an hour, but I mean, he's got 35 movement, 40 control, and my scout doesn't think that's going to get any better. And with that lack of movement, the lack of stuff, you know, he's got good command of a fastball and curveball, but it's just not quite good enough. And I'm going to try and cash in as much as I can on Jackson right now during this offseason. And in return, we're going to make another deal with the Padres. There must be some sort of insider trading, who, by the way, have negative $35 million in budget space. And that's because they signed Juan Soto to a 8-year, $439 million contract. And that's only to get him to age 32. He'll probably opt out of that because he'll probably be able to get more than this. They're going to pay him roughly $58 million between 2025 and 2029. So I'm happy Juan's getting paid. But Tatis, you know, was on a team-friendly deal as well. That's pretty infamous on the deal that he ended up signing. But they have Xander, Manny Machado, Jake Cronenworth signed a contract with them. Elias Diaz is here. Sure, Paul Goldschmidt is here, but 100% of his contract is retained by the Cardinals. Why can't I get deals like that? And then obviously to rub it in, Yu Darvish has his big contract. Blake Snell, they re-signed to a massive contract, but he actually tore his flexor tendon in his elbow. So we're going to go ahead and grab from them Adrian Morejon, a Cuban from Havana. And, you know, he's projected and his current role is as a starter. He has 45 stamina and he's got 4 pitches that he can throw with above average tendencies, especially the fastball. He throws 97, 99. I'm sure if we move him to starting pitcher, his stuff drops to 55, 50. But even then, that's considerably better than the pitchers that we have now. On top of the fact that my scout thinks he can develop, he thinks he can develop a splitter, his curveball. I think he can get better with his stuff. He had a 2.6 Sierra last year, a 2.30 ERA plus, and a 59 FIP minus, even with a .327 BABIP. In AAA, he had a 120 ERA plus with more sample size, 73 innings versus 20 innings, 87 FIP minus, a 3.21 Sierra for 1.5 WAR in AAA. So I think this is worthwhile. I'm also going to get Mr. Screwball himself, Brent Honeywell Jr. This might not work out. I think that he projects more as a reliever than anything else, but I really want to see. I mean, this 3.37 Sierra and only in 22 innings, and you go down to his AAA, he had a 4.84. So a tale of two halves for Brent Honeywell. I want to see how this game. I want to see how this game interprets this screwball, right? Like, how nasty is the screwball? So I'm interested. I'm willing to take a chance. He is a personality class of outspoken, which is a little scary. But we have the captain and leaders in place to be able to deal with that, hopefully. by the time comes in. If it ends up causing team chemistry issues, I have no problem cutting him and sending him down to AAA, whether that's with an option year or whether that's waivers. I think it's a why not kind of situation. He makes the league minimum, so we're gonna go ahead and get this deal done. And I'm going to continue to look for trades. I'm going to continue looking for free agents, and if anything like that transaction wise pops up, I will stop and I will show you guys. So stay tuned. I will be right back. Really quickly, guys, sorry I am come back. I'm sure you guys were wanting this and asking for this, and I apologize for not showing it immediately. This is the NL MVP Mookie Betts, despite the fact having less amount of first place votes than Ezekiel Tovar and Kyle Schwarber. He ends it with his second ever NL MVP. Or is this his first ever MVP? Yeah, 2018 AL MVP. That's what I thought. Okay, I was about to say that 2018 he had like 10 WAR or something like that. There's no possible way he didn't win it. So it was second ever MVP. It'll go with some question marks. Kyle Schwarber, who had a 4.3 WAR season, but he hit 55 home runs. And then Ezekiel Tovar in his rookie year, who he gets a All-Star, he gets Rookie of the Year, he gets a Platinum, he gets a Silver Slugger at shortstop. He had a pretty good first year for the Colorado Rockies, and then Aaron Judge takes back-to-back AL MVPs with a leading on-base percentage, slugging, and obviously OPS, leading in RBIs and walks. So that is exciting. The AL. He beats out Mike Trout, Tim Anderson, Shohei Ohtani, Byron Buxton, Adley Rutschman, etc. Verlander wins the NL Cy Young. He goes back-to-back, beating out Max Scherzer and Brandon Woodruff and Corbin Burns, who all got some first-place votes. This looks to be a little confusing. I'm sure Corbin Burns had a pretty good year. Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, I think Corbin Burns. Oh my God! I didn't even realize. I'm not even looking up. I just saw that Corbin Burns is on the Houston Astros, and Milwaukee is retaining 100% of his contract. I tried to trade for Corbin Burns. He was on the trade block. What did they give up for him? They gave up Jake Myers and Louis Peralez, the number 12 prospect they gave. You can't even get mad. And Brandon Woodruff, 6 days prior, traded to the Baltimore Orioles, and they're keeping 85% of his contract. The Brewers are on a massive fire sale right now. Can I go? Hey, Brewers. Hey. Hey. What's your sounds looking like? Oh my gosh, man. That is tough. I'm just gonna let's take a peek, right? Just take a peek at what you want for Devin Williams with that airbender changeup. What do you want? You know what I mean? Like, what? I'm not gonna give you CJ Abrams. I'll tell you that right now. What about I really don't want to give up Armando Cruz. He's really good defensive. How about no? How about Montes de Oca? No. Ornelas? No. Okay, well, you guys can't say I didn't try. I don't know if I want to give up any major prospects. I'll see what Armando Cruz. No. Not even interested. Baker. What do you want? Do you want Carlos Perez? I'll give up Carlos Perez. Okay, they're willing to do that. They also want Phil Bickford. So now that's the question, right? We could get 2 years of Devin Williams as our is one of the best, if not the best closer in the major leagues right now. Ground ball pitcher with 90 stuff, 75 movement, a 70 fastball, and a 90 changeup. Posted a 2.29 ERA, 149 ERA plus, and a 75 FIP minus due for 1.6 WAR in only 57 innings. Now the question is this what we want to give up, right? So Carlos Perez, I don't want to, but they're interested in Bickford, who they would take Kai Ruiz or Perez. Okay, so do you need a catcher, right? Riley Adams up there with some of the best. Oh, I took away Bickford. Just gaslighting him. Okay, so I'll look at that. If I end up trading for Devin Williams, I'll let you know. So that. So sorry. And here's your Showalter wins Manager of the Year in New York. Rocco Baldelli for Minnesota obviously takes that. Manager of the Year. Here's your Platinum Stick in the AL. Fascinating. Pasquantino. Hey, that thing Italian. NL, there you go. Miggy Vargas, that's fun. That's a fun one. Ketel Marte, that's fun. You like to see Ketel Marte doing his best. And Charlie Blackmon, who we saw who got the got the batting title with pretty absurd average. Here's your NL. Oh, we already said that. AL. Take a look at the reliever of the year. Andrew Chafin wins by a unanimous decision, and Andres Munoz wins in the AL. NL, where's Trevor Williams? Devin Williams. He didn't even end up in the top 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, top 8. So Taylor Rogers gets a shoot. Oh man, God, I see what you're doing for other teams. Let me get that. All right, so just wanted to go over that trade real quick with Morahan and Brandon Honeywell, and I will come back with any other transactions that I decide to come up with. So I will see you guys in just a second. Hello, everyone. Welcome back. And it is December 22nd, so that means it is the Rule 5 draft. So we are going to be taking a look at some of the players that have fallen out of favor and are no longer warranting a 40-man roster spot on some of the bigger teams and better teams than us. Wish I could report anything positive in terms of trades and waiver wire pickups and free agency, but we have some minor leaguers that signed. I'm in conversation with Tanner Scott right now, a really, really good lefty platoon guy, a good specialist I feel like would be really nice. We signed Garrett Williams, but who really cares? You guys saw me put in an offer for Byung-Chul Kim. He's here. He's going to start in AAA for us. Fun stuff. Here's the waiver wire, but none of it's going to matter because the Rule 5 draft is up. And so we'll take a look at some of these guys and see if any of them that I was interested in taking fall through the ranks here, like perhaps Tyler Meagle. Louis Hill, I believe it's Louis Hill, is how you pronounce it, used to be a pretty big prospect for the Yankees. Looks like he hasn't turned out for them, so he's been cut. And so let's just go to the Rule 5 draft. Oh, also, pretty big announcement. The lottery is announced, and we have the first overall pick, despite having we were projected to be fourth, and we have the first overall pick, so that is very exciting. I will gladly take that. We are fourth here in the Rule 5 draft, so let's take a look at the players. Here is Tyler Miguel here. Miguel, don't care. I think it's Miguel. As an Nats fan, I should know, but at this point, my brain's kind of fried, so I don't really care. I'm pretty sure it's Miguel. I would be interested in drafting him. I don't see any reason not to. He makes the minimum contract. He's a 3-star reliever. He's probably a 2.5-star starter. Here's Jake Alu. Go ahead and give a big salute to Jake Alu. So sorry, man. He's been cut from the Cincinnati roster, even though he generated .2 WAR in only 18 games, 10 started. But we obviously traded him away. Anybody else that is a little bit shocking? Johnny DeLuca was that guy that the Dodgers offered to trade us. He's actually here as an option as a righty bat who can play corner outfield above average. Fly ball hitters, Dominic Canzone. I think I've been offered this guy by the Diamondbacks before as well. Tres Barrera used to be on the Nats, but looks like he's on the Cardinals and he's been cut. Unfortunate for him. Here's a 3-star potential Robert Perez Jr. He's a power guy. Got in a trade with Seattle. He is a power guy. So let's go ahead and auto draft until we get our pick. Let's see if anybody has taken anyone. Nobody has taken anyone. All right. So that is good stuff for us. I think I am just going to go ahead and lock in Tyler Meagle, but let's go ahead and take the rest of the pitchers. And here are our options that my scouter, any bit worth our time. Reliever in Justin Slayton. No thanks. Dennis Santana's here. Our head light a candle for Dodgers legend Dennis Santana. I've liked him in previous games. He had pretty good potential in previous games, but unfortunately has not panned out. Wes Parsons on the Oakland Athletics. Listen, if you've been cut by the Oakland Athletics, man, I don't know what to tell you. You're probably not made for baseball. Sean Dubin's a fun guy. This is a cool one. He went to Georgetown College. That's in D.C. That's where I used to live around there. This is, I don't mind this. This is 3 really, really good control pitches. He's a ground ball pitcher, so even the 45 movement shouldn't hurt him too much. He gave about 1.4 Ks. I mean, look at this. Sub 3 Sierras in 3 consecutive AAA years. I definitely think that is worth my attention, but so I will probably come back to him. Here's Prelander Berroda. I'm not interested in him. Luis Hill, he's just extreme fly ball. In the majors, he had 3.41 Sierra. In AAA, he didn't play any in the majors last year. Only played 30 innings in AAA. Injury history. Oh, he had a torn. He's coming off a torn UCL. Listen, man, he's got the stuff, no doubt about that. I don't know if he's worth time to be putting on the major league roster, but I think Tyler Meagle is. No injury history in in the major leagues. He had 144 innings. He's a little unlucky. He had a 5.18 ERA, but he had a 3.34 BABIP and a 3.5 Sierra. So I am going to go ahead and take Meagle, but let me take a quick peek at the batters. See our big contact guys. Ivan Castillo. Wow, that's. Oh man, is that worth my time? Wow, this is a profile to consider, huh? Infield, outfield, utility guy, but we have someone like Nick Madrigal who's akin and similar profile. I don't know if I want to have 2 of those kind of guys. He's switch, but he's better against righties instead of lefties. Wow, I mean, I feel like that's worth considering for all a little head scratcher for us all. Oh, hey, there's Astridis Aquino. But no thanks. Bobby Dahlbeck's here from the Boston Red Sox. If he's still on the Boston Red Sox. Yes, he is. Ross Adolph, Anthony Siegler. Oh, man, those are oh, man, those are really rough names to be right next to each other. If you know, you know. If you don't, then don't worry about it. DJ Stewart's an interesting one. I think I feel like I remember Baltimore trying to make him an infielder, or the Mets trying to make him an infielder, but perhaps I am mistaken. Interesting profile, but we have too many lefty bats, and especially ones that are in the outfield. So I'm gonna pass. Here's JJ Bleday. He used to be a pretty big prospect, not so much any longer. 1st round draft pick by the Miami Marlins, but eventually traded to the Oakland Athletics for just AJ Puck. Pretty tragic. Yeah, this guy used to be a lot of fun. Ismael Munguia. Used to be a lot of fun last year. That contact used to be up in the 60s, and so this avoid K not walking but contact ground ball hitter was really fun to play with, especially for lower guys. Here's Wilfred Astudillo. That's not. Yeah, wait a second. That's not the right Astudillo. He's not the one I'm looking for. Is Astudillo on here? He had a really good year for the Reds, so I can't imagine that he would be. I'm sure if I just sort by catcher, he would pop up. No, he's not. He might be a free agent. Might be. I haven't seen him actually. But anyway, it's a pretty obvious pick here. I'm gonna go with Tyler Meagle. I'm gonna draft him. We gotta go. We already got 40 people on. We have a decision to make here. We'll go ahead and remove Jordan Weems from the 40-man roster to make room for Tyler Meagle. Bada boom, bada bing. All right, let's go and take a look, and we have to have a conversation about, okay, here we go. Tyler Hill got drafted away. Tyler Hill is a good player in this game. Potential 65 contact. I've had him in saves already. It turned out pretty well. Garrett Hill drafted by the Brewers, trying to fill in a hole that Corbin Burns and Brandon Woodruff have dramatically and drastically left. Any interesting one? Grant Allen's is fun. He was on the Red Sox. Cool. Dominic Canzone. So here's one of the guys. This was the Arizona guy. Eliezer Hernandez is a guy from the Mets going to the Angels, and Jorge Barrosa was somebody that I said has been offered to me. So let's continue the draft. And so we still need to ponder the question of including Ivan Castillo. So my gut reaction as a line drive spray hitter with 70 avoid Ks and 45 I, this looks like a good second baseman. This looks like a good player. And it's kind of stressing me out because we already have a pretty decent infield. In as you can see, we have C.J. Abrams, Luis Garcia, Damiano Palamigiani, Jonathan Aranda plays second. Spencer Packard plays only first, so I lied about that. I apologize. This is C.J. Abrams, Luis Garcia. But he might just be worth my time. But first, I think I'm going to take the pitcher that I was interested in here. It was Sean Dubin. This is fun. This is a fun guy. That is a very, very fun guy. I don't know why I said fun like that. Just looking at some of the extreme ground ballers. You know, these 2-star guys aren't really worth your time unless they are extreme ground ballers, if we're all being honest. There's my opinion. Jason Foley. All right, again, don't want to lollygag too much, so we'll go ahead and take who I wanted to take. Jordan Hicks is here. Oh man. $2.4 million though. Ugh, that's awful. Just too much. So I think that it's just worth it to take the Sean Dubin. He has the potential to be a starter. So I think that it's worth our time. We got to clear up one more 40-man roster spot. So between Corey Abbott, John Adon, Aldo Ramirez, no, not going to get rid of him. Tommy Romero is probably going to be it. I like Mason Thompson a little bit more. I think I like Corey Abbott a little bit more. So Tommy Romero is going to be waived. Honestly, hope he gets taken. So Sean Dubin comes in. Take a look who got taken. Jordan Hicks got taken by the Rockies. That's pretty good. If I was the Rockies, extreme ground baller. Brad Keller leaves from the White Sox. Former, more well-known for his Kansas City days. Tommy Henry goes to the St. Louis Cardinals, and I am going to take Ivan Castillo. That is, I think he's just a little too good for me to pass up. The best contact guy here, one of the best gap power guys here. He's also one of the best avoid K guys here. So it's kind of, and he's a switch hitter, so it's kind of a relative no-brainer for me. Who are we gonna drop? Probably drop one of these relievers again. These 1.5-star relievers who inevitably I'm gonna end up waiving anyway to make room for some of the free agent signings that we're inevitably going to be making. So I'm going to take Ivan Castillo, and I feel like that's a very, very, very successful Rule 5 draft. No other players really interested me, so I'm going to go ahead and finish the rest of the draft. Let's take a look at who was taken. That's it. We had 3. We were the only team to take 3 picks, and I feel like they were 3 really, really good ones. Leave a comment if you think so as well. I feel like those were just kind of guys that you don't see a lot in the Rule 5 draft. Here's Sean Dubin. Hopefully he gets a curly dub on the score sheets. Listen, I'm so sorry. Here's Tyler Meagle. And Ivan Castillo is now officially a Washington National. Exciting stuff. None of these guys, all of these guys. Hey, Drew Smiley. It's pretty disappointing. Drew Smiley got released by the Cubs. All right, so that was that. Let's not take up as much time as possible. If any transaction comes around, I will see you guys then. Okay, welcome back. The international free agent signing period has begun. We have $4.75 million to use. So let's take a look at some of the prospects that are here. I haven't, so this is all changed. You can invite players to camp and stuff like that and scout them a little bit better. I don't particularly do that. I like to get ahead and kind of do what I normally did back in the previous games. And that is just sign the best player with 5 stars and a pretty good personality class / personality traits. Whoa, we got a guy from the Philippines here. I think this is the Philippines. Saint Martin is a fun one. He's also Dutch. Loop Silva. This is really good, but he's got 3 fastball pitches. Usually you want to have a changeup or something. Unfortunately, not a lot of these guys have. Okay, this guy does. David Barrios. He has a good personality trait. Got some good personality traits. Juan Huitron. Uh, Alfredo. Alfredo Ramirez. Big fan of your pasta. I'm sorry if I've made that joke. I'm so sorry. This kid's good. Luis Rojas. This kid's good. I'm probably going to go for this kid. I'm a big fan of his hitting stats here. But I also kind of want to go for Lupe Silva. This is a really, really, really nasty profile. We have an average relationship, which is pretty nice. Very high interest for the entire league. So I'm a little bit scared. But I will try and... We're going to try and sign both of them. But I just wanted to give you guys kind of a showcase of some of the prospects that are here. Here's a guy with 80 home run power potential, which is pretty exciting, but nothing else. Here's some of the starting pitchers. I will wheel and deal, and I will try my best to get them to sign for as little as possible and stuff like that. Obviously, I would like to sign a couple, considering there are a good amount of international free agent prospects. Don't want to just put all my cookies in one bag. So I will show you guys who we ended up signing and who we're going to end up negotiating with if there's a trade or anything. So those are the international free agent prospects, and I will try my best to secure some of the better ones. So I will see you guys when I report back on who we ended up signing. All right, hi everyone. We are back. It is spring training time. It is February 29th, 2024. And as you can see right here, we've already started making moves on what is the dollar tree of the free agency, which is waiting all the way until spring training, seeing who the rest of the league doesn't want, and then offering them 1 year really, really cheap, usually $2 to $3 million deals. Alex Cobb's one of those players. Matt Carpenter is one of those players. Nick Ahmed is one of those players. Like I said, I wanted to shore up that shortstop position with elite defense, and he most certainly is that. And Lucas Giolito is a really good starting pitcher. Only getting him for about $3.25 million if he ends up signing. Alex Cobb, I ended up taking a shot at, I think for just around $4.5 million. Just because, just getting bodies in. We have the money. Even with all of those contracts I've offered, I still have $7.4 million left. Excuse me. And it's looking okay, obviously these behemoth contracts that we're going to have to deal with are still here, and they're not going to go anywhere. Here's Corbin's new overalls, starting this year. Here's Steven Strasburg's overall starting the year. And obviously Corbin is done next year. That's going to free up $31 million. And then Strasburg we're screwed with for the next few years unless he decides to retire, in which case I don't think that we have to pay him if he voluntarily retires in the middle of a contract. So that's going to be the big hope. And I don't want to say this out loud. But I'm going to say this out loud. I am hoping with the fragile injury proneness, sometimes injuries force retirement and stuff like that. Listen, I'm not manifesting anything for Strasburg in real life. In fact, I hope he has a healthy career, and I hope he comes back from his UCL or his rubber elbow issue, thoracic outlet syndrome. And I hope that he's just a stronger, better version of himself. But in this game, and the fact that I'm retaining 85% of his contract, I am hoping that he doesn't have a long, healthy career. I hope it's cut short. John Gray's here is one of our top players that we're paying for the next couple years. John Gray, Luis Garcia's here, Alex Kirilloff, Nick Madrigal, Jonathan Loaizica, Carlos Perez, and Kyber Ruiz are our two highest paid players that are actually on our roster, but that'll end up changing. Alex Cobb ended up signing. I think he asked for $4.5 million. Real quick, just to see, I go ahead and force them to use Luis Garcia as a third baseman because I think long term that's where he projects. CJ Abram is going to start getting game time at second base. Considering putting him out in the outfield, but considering we have so many really, really good outfielders, Andy Pajes, Alex Kirillov, obviously. Dylan Cruz, our number 2 overall draft pick, is already going to be in our spring training roster simply because he is just that good. Robert Hassel III has the potential, if he performs well in spring training, to make the starting roster. I don't know why I blanked on that. Here's Michael Ciani. Hey, James Wood's here. James Wood is most certainly going to be on the roster. He's one of the better hitters that we have on this roster. For the major leagues, here's Ivan Castillo. Jeter Downs is suspended for a game. Justin Henry Malloy, who we got from the Reds, Detroit. He's got a fun profile. Hopefully he proves what he's worth in spring training. And then here are our catcher room. Israel Pineda is a great third option. He's got captain rating. So really, if Carlos Perez isn't doing it for me, and or he's doing so well and we're not doing well, he's an excellent trade piece for us in the upcoming season. But I don't want to manifest that. I just don't, just putting that out there. Okay, so let's go ahead and sim through spring training, and then I will go ahead and update you guys with the final roster cuts. And then we will end this episode. And next episode, we will go ahead and start the 2024 season, hopefully with a little more optimism than we had last year. So I will see you guys then. Hello. It is the last section of this video. We are finally to the 2024 opening day. If you guys want to tune into how next season goes, please check out the next episode. This video will be in a playlist. I'm only going to have these episodes up on my channel, so please hit the subscribe button so you guys can tune into what I think, in my opinion, is going to be an excellent year. I think we have finally put together a respectable and competitive team on the field. A massive step from the 67-win season we had last year. First things first, what I totally forgot to do and show you guys were the international free agents I signed. I ended up signing 2, but we'll take a quick look here at the top farm systems right now. Dylan Cruz is still your is now the number 13 prospect. He was number 14. As you can see, he has had some, that's hard to say, some declines in his potential ratings per my scout. But OSA still likes him to a certain extent. He only had 1 at-bat in spring training. He didn't end up getting a lot of game time, unfortunately for him. But, he's not good enough for a major league roster. But he's going to start out in A-plus ball, high A ball. And we will keep an eye on how his development turns out for the rest of next season. Robert Hassel III is going to start the year in AAA. Unfortunately, don't have enough roster spots to have Robert Hassel III on our roster. So he's going to start on AAA. If he starts, if he goes ham, he will obviously get a call up. And obviously any injuries happen to any outfielders, he is our first guy to bring up. The international free agent, one of the signings was Luis Rojas, and he is the number 28 prospect. He is a lefty with a high work ethic and high adaptability. He's a fly ball hitter who has 80 contact potential. This is just a really nasty profile here. So hopefully he turns out to be it. I mean, if he could even be 3/4 of what that is, and he'd still be a good major league player. So 6'5", 190, needs to get a little bit of meat on him, but he's only 16 years old. So yeah, who knows? Excuse me. He could end up being like 6'7", being only 16 years old. When I was in college, and around 19, 20 years old, I had a massive growth spurt. Same thing happened to players like Paul George, who came into the league at about 6'6", and he ended up being 6'9", or I think he's 6'8" right now or something like that. And he had like a weird growth spurt in his like early 20s. So, nothing's out of the table, but 6'5", 190, I think that's fun. The other one I ended up signing, if we go to the minor leagues, we go to all batters, it was a catcher. Go international here. Here he is, Sergio Barrios. I just had a couple extra $1 million, and he was a really good get. So he was one of the better players still remaining. It's, I'm not necessarily jumping out of my seat for him, but as a catcher with no catching ability, he'll probably end up being a DH first base type instead of a catcher. So, but you never know. Hopefully the defensive ratings change. But I want to show you guys the official opening day roster for your Washington Nationals. It is a little exciting. So go ahead and take a seat, grab some popcorn real quick. This is the roster we have set up. One of the bigger things that happened was Keibert Ruiz is out for he is out for 4 weeks with an oblique strain he suffered in spring training. So unfortunately, he doesn't make the opening day roster. But still, that's why we have Carlos Perez. He's going to go ahead and start at catcher for us. The problem that I found out that I have is that I have a lot of lefty bats. And all of these lefty bats are just really, really good against righties. So I'm going to, not something I love to do. I'm going to plug my nose and I'm just going to play the best lineup that I have here for against righties. And that is CJ Abrams leading off at second base. This is he's just turned out to be a really, really good player. He had a really rough spring training, so hopefully he turns that around. James Wood is going to bat in the 2 slot. He's got enough speed and stealing for me to justify playing him in the 2 role, in the 2 spot. So he's going to get there. Alex Kirilloff is going to continue to play in the 3rd spot. I think I had him playing there last year if I didn't have him in the 2nd, but he's a little more attuned for the 3rd spot in the lineup. Matt Carpenter, who I mentioned I was thinking about signing, and he ends up signing for only $2 million. This is a good DH / first base to have, and pop, which is something significantly needed from last year. Carlos Perez is go ahead and fall into the 5 hole. Jonathan Aranda is going to continue playing first base for us. He's just a overall good player. We could play across the infield. Luis Garcia is going to play at 3rd base like I advertised. Michael Ciani is going to be our center fielder. And last but not least, our new starting shortstop this year is going to be Nick Ahmed, one of the best defensive catchers that you could get in the entire game. And the fact that we have him on our team, I'm very excited about. And nothing to scoff at those rankings. Lefties are a little bit weird. Nick Madrigal is going to be our DH. I decided to opt for him to be our DH here. He's just really, really good. He's just a great leadoff guy against lefties. 95 avoid K, 60 contact. So if he can bat 300 against lefties, that would be ideal. CJ Abrams is going to play in the 2. Carlos Perez in the 3. Alex Kirilloff in the 4. We kind of switch those guys around. Luis Garcia at 3rd base in the 5. Damiano Palomaggiani, I don't know if I'm saying that right, but I feel like I am, is going to play at first base against lefties. James Wood's going to drop down to the 7 against lefties. Nick Ahmed to the 8, and Michael Ciani at the 9 hole. So that is that, but that is not the most exciting part. You see that correctly. Sandy Alcantara is a Washington National. A deal that was done quite literally yesterday on 4-4, or actually today technically. I actually had too many relievers and wanted to see what I could get out of Tayron Guerrero, and what was offered to me was Sandy Alcantara. This is a lot of non-prospects here. Blake Klassen, nothing. Jose Antasio goes. Jared McKenzie goes. Brendan Bossier, Darren Baker, and Brendan Collins, and that was mainly because we are paying close to nothing. 90% of his contract is going to be maintained by the Miami Marlins. This is a fantastic deal for us. He is coming, however, the big reason is because he is coming off a torn rotator cuff that he suffered just about a year ago. So there are some question marks coming into the season. Is he going to be the consistent starter that we saw and the Cy Young winning kind of caliber player that we saw in 2022? So that's the big question mark, and I think that's why we got him on such a big discount. But a ground ball pitcher who throws 98 to 100 miles an hour with fastball, slider, changeup, sinker combo. Last year in the few games, 46 innings he played, he had a 3.74 Sierra, not too far off what he had in 2022. His Cy Young winning campaign. ERA and ERA plus are pretty similar. Fit minus is pretty similar. So if he could just maintain that, he's a young 28 years old. He's not fragile, injury proneness. As you can see, obviously we did not end up with Lucas Giolito or Alex Cobb. Both of those guys signed for $10+ million deals. I think one with the Astros and one with the Orioles. And I'm just not willing to shell that out. John Gray is going to be our 2nd starting pitcher. He's angry probably because of his performance in spring training. Yeah, probably. He had a 5.35 ERA in spring training. Not good. Sean Dubbin, our Rule 5 draft pick from Houston, is going to go ahead and be our 3rd starting pitcher. Excited about him. Ground ball pitcher, throws up to 98 with 3 elite pitches in a fastball, slider, curveball, changeup. Those are that's a really good pitch mix. 4 out of the park baseball. Tyler Meagle, he's going to go ahead and slot into the 4. I think this is another Rule 5 draft pick that I'm really happy about. Throws upper 90s. Very excited about that. And Josiah Gray is going to be our 5th in the rotation, but that's a tentative 5th in the rotation. If he performs poorly, like I'm kind of worried he is with 35 movement and being a fly ball pitcher, I will gladly move him to reliever and go ahead and bring in Adrian Morejon to try and take a stab at the starting pitcher role. Cole Henry's going to start out to be our closer. He's just really good. As you saw, Morejon's going to be one of our setup guys. Carlos Vargas, one of our setup guys. Extreme ground ball, 100 plus miles an hour. Here's Phil Bickford. You guys saw Joe Mantiply, who we traded for last year. Jonathan Loizaga, who we picked up on the waivers. Brent Herter. He's also going to be vying for a starting spot, but his expectation was bullpen, so I was willing to go ahead and start him in the bullpen rather than piss off someone like a Dubbin, Josiah Gray, or Migo, who expect to be in the starting rotation. Even though Adrian Morejon also expects it, I think Morejon's going to go ahead and start out as a reliever for me. Tanner Scott was another free agent signing, $1.1 million. He is a lefty specialist, and I am very happy about that and picking up someone like that. So that's that. These are the AAA, AA, and A+ ball guys. If you guys want to take a quick gander, Brent Honeywell Jr. Unfortunately, I had to waive. He just didn't have a good. He was one of our worst pitchers in spring training, so I have waived him. He's fragile. If someone grabs him, someone grabs him. But if nobody does, I will gladly put him in, stick him in AA, and have him as a backup in case any relievers or anything like that end up getting hurt. Cade Cavalli, as you see, still has he's Tommy John surgery. Keegan Thompson has a 1-day suspension, so we're going to start him out on the restricted list, and then we'll make a decision on whether or not we want to put him onto the major league roster or if we're going to drop him down to AAA as his last option year available. Mackenzie Gore's back in 2 weeks, so hoping for a speedy recovery for Mackenzie. And as you saw, Kuiper Ruiz. So that is that. Thank you guys so much for watching. It has been a great success this offseason, a phenomenal success. So I'm very looking forward to next year. I hope you guys tune into the next episode where real quick, we'll take a look at the preseason projections. Here they are. If you want to take a quick look, Rays projected to win the AL East. This is going to be a really tight, looks like all of them over 500, really tight race. Astros, also as well, the American AL West is looking to heat up here, and we are projected to win 73 games. Not exactly what we wanted to, but as we conceive the AL versus the NL is extremely top heavy with the likes of the Mets, Braves, Cardinals, Dodgers, Padres, versus here there's not a single team that's projected to hit over 90. There are 2 teams projected to win 100, and one more team to like the Braves to be over 90 wins. So we all saw Ohtani's the New York Met. But CJ Abrams is projected to be a top hitter. That's exciting. Juan Soto first base, right? Okay, but CJ Abrams is projected to hit 295, 11 home runs, and have 63 stolen bases. So we hope he gets there. All right, guys, enough of that. I will see you guys next episode. Please, if you like this content, please leave a like. And hopefully next season isn't as long as the first season's episode. And I will, make executive decisions to cut stuff out and limit myself on my time. So thank you guys so much for watching. I sincerely appreciate it. Leave a like, comment, subscribe, do anything if you're enjoying the content. If you're watching this at 1.25 or 1.5 times speed, congratulations, you've made it to the end. So thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you guys in the next episode.